Hey YouTube, coming at you with a Retro Cup team from PN2N who says, team felt good, Grumpig Furret core seems really reliable, which everyone's using, so not surprising. Added arcitbax to see how well he could act as a closer for the team. If I secure shield advantage for him, went 10-5 with the team across 3 sets. This is the first season of GBL that I'm trying to get better at PvP and climb. Managed to get to 2380 in the Remix Cup, that was my peak. I'm eager to learn what I could have done better if you end up reviewing the gameplay. Heads up, one game I was a dummy and did an instant throw on the Diggersby. I believe it was a win I let slip. Got really tilted in the third set when I didn't call Aurorus as weather ball bait. Felt like it started going downhill from there. Looking forward to the critiques. Yeah, so, I mean, Grumpig, Furret, and Jumpluff are just 3 Pokemon on every single team. That's when I start to, like, just... If you can find Pokemon that core break those 3, you're in good shape in this meta, because these two just make sense, right? Furret's just weak to fighting, and then Grumpig is a psychic user. Arcitbax is weak to fighting, so you are double weak to fighting in the back, but understanding you're going to use it as a closer. If you're going to use it as a closer, I do think Avalanche is the correct move to use instead of Icy Wind. Some people use Icy Wind because it lowers the attack, but Avalanche makes sense. Yeah, this is such a weird one. Both fast moves are resisted. They have a super effective brutal swing. You have dynamic punch, which is neutral. I assume they're going to have an answer for Furret, especially with this on the lead. So I would be getting out into Furret here, but do get to a move. May grab a shield or take out. They're just going to overfarm a bit. I think you just let this go and just sucker punch down. So they do Trailblaze, that's fine. I assume they're going to have a fighter. It'd be pretty stupid not to have a fighter for... Yeah, it's very dumb not to have a fighter when you are running Oranguru in this meta, knowing that Furret is everywhere. So this is why I think you had to try and bait it out earlier. They have to close combat you, because if they Rage Fist, that's resisted. They eventually come and catch on Superior, so this is fine. You can play it either way. I would just, honestly, I know you're getting out because grass is resisted and you can just, I think you're right, Dragon Breath down. You're also so boosted that there is an argument you could just like stay in that matchup and play it out. But, you know, I think it's fine just to get out and resist. Okay, Talonflame. So you will get to the Shadow Ball, 14 versus 15 here. So this may grab a shield or do a really good chip damage. It does grab a shield. They eventually get out into Feraligatr. So you can live 1 Hydro for sure, but not 2. It takes 14 to get to the Trailblaze, which should get to it here. And this will put pressure on that last shield or take this out. If they do shield, you're going to have to probably shield right back. Nope, they decide to let it go down. Talonflame is going to come in and get a move off, not wanting to burn their second shield here. Fly does register. I would go, I was say arcitbax, but arcitbax is actually half ice, so these are neutral incinerates. I'm gonna shield up a flyer Brave Bird here. It is a fly. Out comes Diggersby. Love to see it. Yeah, there is no baiting here. Just go straight Avalanche. So first one does land. Love to see it. Instant swapping. Getting off the dynamic punch here. This will be super effective. They do shield, which is a little surprising. At this point, I think you just let it go and just run arcitbax. Scorching Sands, not enough to take out. Quick attack down does work. You know, it could be a Scorching Sands, but I think you should be okay to take them out before it's going to be close. But you do have... Oh, please don't 1 HP death here. And, oh, I see what you're saying. Just having the Dragon Claw, but going down to a fast move there. Getting to the Shadow Ball on the Talonflame. They do shield. Going arcitbax. I don't even know where you go from here. So it's interesting that you said... As you can see by the amount that fly did, it does a lot to arcitbax, especially with just having a hundo. so you don't have the bulk behind it. It's interesting that, you know, I've spent a couple of videos already saying, like, if you got a game plan, stick to it as best as you could. Two shield Marowak, two shield Dust Noir, and you said your strategy was to shield advantage arcitbax. So to see you come into that matchup and just use no shields and just have it go down. And again, just because you have a game plan doesn't mean you need to follow it exactly. Like the matchup may force you to switch it up a bit, but it's just kind of interesting to see that play out. We'll take this out with the Swift or leave or undercharging to hopefully get one more move. It is an arcitbax. Dynamic Punch will be super effective. Looks like an Ice Fang arcitbax at that. So that'll one shot. Ice Fang arcitbax is kind of an interesting one because you know, there are a lot of jump lefts out there, so hitting a double super effective with the ice makes sense. Grumpig versus Furret. This is a bad lead with the sucker punches here, going to really add up. You do have Dynamic Punch, which is super effective, but you know, those sucker punches are going to add up. The pacing on Dynamic Punch is quite good, and the side wave is adding a lot of pressure on. So I'm assuming they're going to boost their attack with Trailblaze and just try and sucker punch you down. I would get out because you're going to get taken out here before you get to a move. Yeah. Okay, that you can just tell how rookie you are. And again, that's not like an insult or anything, but that's just a very rookie move. You know, you have Sucker Punch, which is doing super effective against you because you're psychic. Fine getting off Dynamic Punch. You have two things weak to fighting in the back, so you probably need to try and draw out a fighter if you can. You know they're going to boost to because their Sucker Punches are doing super effective, so they're going to boost. You would have no chance to get to the second Dynamic Punch, so you just go down to like 4 Sucker Punches, which means now they have a ton of energy and you lost Switch and you're double weak to fighting in the back. So it's just a very like many mistakes that will lead. Well, that will, I don't know if it'll cost you this matchup because you do have a shield advantage, but like mistakes like that will cost you in the long run for sure. And you know, you're now down over 50% health on Furret here. And they are going to double shield this, knowing how much pressure they're putting on you. That if they boost their attack again, I know you're trying to save shields, but if they boost their attack again, okay, they didn't boost it again. But this Sucker Punch is going to put some damage onto the arcitbax here. So you're going to have to shield for sure. But now you're going to have to go against 2 Pokemon, and you're going to be at like 60% health. So here comes a Grumpig. I don't think Avalanche is going to take Grumpig out. That's the problem. Like arcitbax is okay, but Avalanche isn't a nuke. So they'll live. Psywave is adding pressure. You're going to have to shield and try and farm and come out with, hopefully it's a jump off in the back you can have Avalanche for. They kind of make the mistake and let you farm down. Yeah, but it's an Oranguru in the back, so I assume they'll be close. I don't think you can get to a Dragon Claw before they take you. Oh, you need an Avalanche, so they're definitely going to take you out first. Yeah. So the front end of the matchup did cost you there. So I would say this is advantage for you. I don't think I would throw right at 12 because that's CMP and they may get the extra confusion through, which it looks like they did. They have to Trailblaze because Psychic Fangs is resisted. But you can probably get to another Dynamic Punch. I wouldn't be surprised if they double shield and just try to, and they're going to have like 2 very bulky Pokemon in the back coming in here. Plus I assume they may have bulky Pokemon, but they also should have an answer for this. Kingdra. So not an amazing answer. Again, if you're going to run a psychic Pokemon, you need to have 1 or 2 answers for Furret. You must in this meta. So we're going to shield up an Octazooka. Again, why you have a strategy of 2 shielding, of taking shield advantage for Arctibax. You could have potentially had that advantage, Dragon Breath down, come out with some energy. And now Lapras is in here. You know, Sparkling Aura is resisted. Ice Beam's only neutral because you're half ice. So now it's a race to the moves and a really nice catch. Catching a freaking blizzard at that. Catching the blizzard. What are the odds of that? Holy smokes. So you will take that matchup after that huge catch, but if that blizzard lands, that was a loss too. Medi. So I would say good lead. You have neutral sideways versus looks like resisted Psycho Cut or counter. Shadow Ball is going to be super effective. If they only have Dynamic Punch and Psychic, both are resisted. Ice Punch is not going to hit too hard. It's just Ice Punch, so that's fine. Pidgeot in the back. Going to get to Dynamic Punch. Yeah, what do you do here? It's a weird one, especially if they have Feather Dance. That lands, so that's actually quite huge. What are they using? I don't even know what fast move they're using, but they have like... So it's just an Aerial Ace, that's fine. I don't mind staying in this because if they have Feather Dance, you want to be able to reset that. But where do you go from here? Arctibax, they may have a move. What is this fast move? It's not... Is that their wing attack now? Gonna shield up. It's just an Aerial Ace, but... Yeah, it's kind of a weird one to play against. Stunfisk. Oh, nice catch. Catching an Avalanche. So you'll live one move for sure, but this thing is very spammy. You are also very spammy. I would just throw Dragon Claw. Yeah, just put some shield pressure on here. That was a pretty devastating catch though. I think you go down and just try and outpace with the Trailblazers, which are no. Because you're not going to get to an Avalanche. But you know what? I say no, but you are putting a lot of fast move pressure on, I would instant swap. I don't want to get farmed down there. And Furret's so bulky that grabbing that last shield, this is Swift range, and they're going to need like 3 moves. Yeah. So it's going to work out. Stunfisk. The potential to core break so many things, but it's just not a good Pokemon. Primeape. So great lead. They're going to have to get out into something. That something being a Dust Noir. So this is a great answer. It does have Dynamic Punch. And my guess is that this is an ABB style Ghost team. You save swap Dust Noir. You pull out the Furret. You have the Dynamic Punch for it to grab a shield or potentially flip switch. You punish it with Primeape, and then your second Ghost roams free, leaving the 2 shield for the second Ghost in the back. That's my guess. Maybe not. You're in the 2100 range, so maybe people will not team build like this, but just my first guess here. They're going to have to close combat you, or else you are going to live this Rage Fist. So they do close combat. And they burnt that shield. And it's a licky, so what the hell do I know? Again, it's not even a bad read. It's just that, in the 2100s, people maybe don't think through teams like that all the way. Just kind of... I mean, you know what? Licky is another answer for... I was going to say Ghost. Well, it's another answer for Ghost. What was on the lead? Primeape. Yeah, Primeape is going to have problems against Ghost in general, despite Rage Fist, and then you have a Ghost, which is weak to Ghost, so I guess it makes sort of sense. I think you can live 1 Rage Fist for sure. Second one, nope, you will not, so you're going to need to get to a move here, and you do for the win. There's something like buzzing around here. I can't tell if it's my computer or something in the house. Aurorus. I would say good lead just because of the pacing to Dynamic Punch, but yes, this is very baity. Because it's going to be a Weather Ball bait versus a Meteor Beam, which is a nuke. Now, the problem is if you shield and this is just a Weather Ball bait, yeah. Now they could potentially get to a Meteor Beam after that bait. I think you'll live a Meteor Beam, but it'll put you pretty low. Oh, no, you don't. Yeah, 1 HP. 1 HP live, which is fine. Take that. But they're boosted, so I wouldn't be surprised if they shield. Why would you do that? Why would you shield that and then get out? I assume it's going to be an Ice Beam, and I would probably shield it. Yeah, I don't know about this. And now they'll get to another Meteor Beam to do a ton of damage here before you get to a move. Oh, just a Weather Ball. Oh, you can't take a second one here, though. So committing to the farm down, just hoping that you can... and it is Annihilate in the back. Sucker Punch is at least neutral. Swift, no. Swift is resisted on the Ghost. You have to get to the Trailblaze. And you could have got to the Trailblaze. Yeah. Grumpig, Toxapex, good lead. Poison, weak to Psychic. They get out into Furret, and your answer is arcitbax. Which is it a good answer? And again, this is one of those, like, you have Grumpig on the league, you should probably have better answers for Furret in this. It's just the way this meta is. Furret really only answer is fighting, and with Fairy and Dark Band and Steel Band, you know, Furret's pretty free. So Trailblaze, they did flip switch though, just to immediately come back in to the Toxapex into the Psywave user. Interesting. Assume it's going to be a Brine. Just going to get to a Dynamic Punch, hoping that they don't count and they may grab the shield, and then you got an instant swap. Don't get farmed down. You never leave one Pokemon left when you don't know what the other Pokemon is, because if it's like a... And lighting the first move go to, which is also risky, because if it's a fast move dance Pokemon, and if this has Feather Dance, yeah, so this is... And you just missed time there too, so... truly everything you could do wrong there, you are doing wrong. Yeah, this game's over. Oranguru, again, both fast moves are resisted. You have a neutral Dynamic Punch. They have a super effective Brutal Swing. Dynamic Punch lands. You do win CMP, and you'll have a Brutal Swing, so you could win the next... Unless they get to it in 8, but I don't think so. Yeah, so we're going to get to the next move and take this out before they get their Brutal Swing off. Or they may shield, at which case that's fine. Again, my only concern is Oranguru lead. It probably has a fighter in the back to deal with Furret. So if you let this go and come here, they may have a fighter to deal with this after. You do farm down, so take an energy and shield. And there is your Primeape, double weak to fighting in the back here, right? This is, you got to recognize, especially in a limited meta, it's much easier to recognize teams in a limited meta because there's such a smaller amount of Pokemon that you need to like watch out for. You can let it go, but get ready to start shielding everything on the, I wouldn't get farmed down here, especially with resisted Sucker Punches. You have to shield everything. Yeah, so you gotta like stop getting farmed down as much as you are. You're just letting your opponent get free energy and you're not doing enough damage there. Dunsparce as a rollout user, super effective. They're gonna have to get to 2 Rock Slides because you have a shield. You know what? You may even live a Rock Slide, honestly. Rock Slide is a nerfed move now this season, or 2 seasons ago. I forget when it got nerfed. So even if they get to a move here, you may live. Arcitbax is pretty glassy, so maybe not. 1 HP and enough to get to the Dragon Claw. Yeah, it was going to be close. And able to sneak that one out. Maybe the last one here. Magikarp. Yeah, last battle. Magikarp, you have the Dynamic Punch. Super effective, likely to grab a shield because they're probably going to want to Rock Tomb you before they take a move. So that's expected. I say just let it go, get the Dynamic Punch off. Ooh, Overheat. You know what? That's fine. You can't predict that, and I'm fine with just letting that go. You know, their attack is lower ×2, but they do have super effective Rock Tomb here, which will do a lot, even though their attack is lowered. So again, just putting a lot of pressure on the last Pokemon here. And your attack is lowered. Like when your attack's lowered like that and you have a Pokemon to reset on, you want to reset. And by resetting, for those of you who don't know what that means, it means get out of the matchup, and that Rock Tomb that lowered Arctibax's attack will be eliminated when you put it back on the bench there for a minute. Jump Bluff in the back. I don't think it's worth the bait here, but there's no way it shields. Acrobatics does land, which now means your Air Lace range, which means you're going to get outpaced here and you're going to lose. Unless you make some sort of catch here, but even so, I think you're in trouble. Because they could just take you out with Aerial Ace. Energy Ball. And you have that Ampharos still sitting there, right? So there goes you, and here comes a move, and you're going to lose. Yeah. It's just a few things I work on, like don't get farmed down as much. Don't leave. It's fine taking like a shield advantage for some of your Pokemon, but you can't leave your last couple Pokemon. Like you can't leave one Pokemon alive just for like 2 or 3 of their Pokemon. You can't leave a Pokemon with like half health for their Pokemon. You just don't get farmed down as much. Be more aggressive with some swaps here. So those are some suggestions for these battles. Anyways, thanks for submitting. Thanks for watching. Hope everyone's having a good day, and I will see you guys in the next one.